Welcome to Color Compare of Green, Contrast, and SpeedPaint. In this series, we are comparing every contrast color and SpeedPaint color so we can see which ones are similar and what we might want to put on a specific model. This specific video on the greens is the mid-tone or kind of general greens. These are not yellow greens, they're not the brown, or I'm calling them kind of military greens. These aren't the dark greens. These are just green. And we have a few different groupings. First, let me show you the swatch sticks here. For all of our swatches, we have this color on the stick over 4 primers. Matte white, Brainmatter Beige, Ash Gray, and a generic silver primer, so we can kind of see some of the metallic effects of putting SpeedPaint over silver. Here's our greens, and the first thing I want to do is pull out our 2 Orc options. And I do believe I actually have a little typo on my swatch stick here. The Army Painter, I think they spell Orc with a C. Either way, here's our 2 Ork Flesh options, or Orc Skin options, and you can see both very nice for orcs, though slightly different. But you can use both, of course, and have just a little bit different looking orcs, right? Add some diversity to your orc force. So those are kind of the baseline here, and if we go to Warp Lightning, we're going to see that even though they're both Citadel, the Ork Flesh and the Warp Lightning are very similar. I've always been surprised at just how similar these colors are to each other. I'm not sure why they're so similar or when you would use one over the other, so let me know if you have a certain reason you might use one or the other. I just use them interchangeably and kind of don't care which one I grab, honestly. So those are your basic greens. With that, we do have some that I want to say are a little bit brighter. And this used to be just the Citadel, but now we have some Army Painter kind of popping in here. So Army Painter Shamrock Green has joined in with Karandras Green to be that little bit brighter. We still do have Striking Skorpion, which is brighter and starting towards that yellow, though I'll show you here it's not quite in the yellow-green category. So there's those. Striking Skorpion sticking out a little bit. Let me just bring in one of these other greens here so we can kind of see. You see where we're going in that direction, a little bit brighter, maybe slightly yellower. Let's see here. You see with those 3 colors on the bottom. Very nice. Very nice. The other thing we have here are the Hexwraith Flame and the Ghoul Green. And these just add kind of an ethereal quality. It's not quite a teal, but it's almost just like a brighter, I don't want to say neon because it doesn't glow under a black light. But it's just, it's not quite a yellowy green, but it's just more of maybe a sea foamy kind of feel to it. It's even, very different than the brightness of these other greens here. Even, the orc will play on the orc skin. You can see it's just a little bit different. That Ghoul Green versus this Ork Flesh. You see it just has that slightly different quality to it. And Ghoul Green and Hexwraith Flame, similar but different enough to stand out from each other. Let me grab the Orc Skin here and we'll show you that one as well. Kind of in there, you can see where that kind of falls in. Very neat, very neat. So these are our middle-of-the-road greens. Now, these are not the yellow greens. The yellow greens are yellow. Alright, so here's just an example. Mantis Warriors, even against that Striking Skorpion. Now that Striking Skorpion's not looking so yellow, is it? Mantis Warriors, clearly a more yellow-green, though in the recesses, it's very much more of a green. On the highlights of the Mantis Warriors, very much a yellow. Really love the contrast on that one. Looking forward to showing that off more in another video. Alright, let's answer the question I always do at the end of these videos, and that is, if I owned none of these, what would I buy? Well, I'm an orc player. I play orcs. So I'm going to grab anything that mentions an orc. So I will probably grab both of these to paint my orcs. I am going to not even care if I have Warp Lightning, it's pretty much the same thing. These other, like the Shamrock, the Karandras, the Striking Skorpion, I don't have specific immediate uses for those. So I'm probably going to leave those at the store. I do play Night Haunt, though. So, probably going to grab at least one of these. Honestly, probably both of those, because they're just different enough that I feel like I could use both on a model as a little bit of a kind of difference, you know, like one for like the cowl versus the cloak or something like that, you know. In these Night Haunt models, you want almost two colors that are similar but different to highlight those different ethereal areas. So probably going to pick those up as well. So that's my thought. I'll probably be grabbing those four. Might grab one of these if the situation warrants. I would really love to find a really cool use for this. Speaking of this color, the other thing I will buy but doesn't make it into these color compares is this Technical Tesseract Glow. Similar effect to this, but different, though it's not a true contrast or speed paint, so it's not going to show up in these videos. It's just different enough that it's not quite a good comparison. Really a different effect there. All right, well, there you go. There's the basic greens. Other greens are in other episodes. Check those out. Thanks for watching. Take care. Let's get gaming.